most people are going to get to a point where they say there's nothing new on this app. I've seen everything. I mean, people say that about Netflix all the time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Truly Independent. I'm Garrett Batty, and with me is my co-host, Darren Smith. Darren, how are you?
Hey, man, I am great. Excited for today's episode. We got a great guest with us. So I think we should dive into it.
Let's not wait. Let's not hesitate. We want to welcome Bryan Louzil. You told me how to say it right before this, and here I am totally stalling out. You said Brazil, but with the Lou.
You know, if I had $1 for every time someone mispronounced my name, I'd be a rich man. Bryan Louzil. It's like Brazil with Lou in front of it, but I don't care how you say it. Very similar to Mometu. I don't care how you say it, as long as you use it. That's all that matters.
That's a trend, I think, right now, is choosing things that are hard to pronounce and associating them with you. But awesome. Good. Thank you for being here. Bryan, you and I just met through email, and somebody reached out. You reached out or introduced yourself, and I was just fascinated with what you're doing and who you are, and thought this could be perfect to talk about on an episode of Truly Independent. So thank you very much for reaching out.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing me on so quickly as well. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So, Bryan, can you share with our audience like a little bit about your background and why we're having this conversation today?
Yeah, so as far as my personal background, I grew up in the film industry. My parents met on a film set. So I kind of grew up like my summer camps and winter camps were very unique as I spent them on movie sets. It was kind of the old school free daycare, if you will. I think I have a first or a second AD credit from when I was 10 years old, and that was from getting to order around adults. I actually got someone from one of the crew members kicked off a set actually because he wasn't listening to a 10-year-old. It was really interesting. You know, I just pinged and said, "Hey, Dad, can you come here real quick?" And he's like, "Who's his dad?" Director comes through and says, "Oh, you're not listening to the first AD? All right, you got to go." So I grew up on film sets, and actually through that, it was the main reason I never wanted to get into this industry. It sounds very odd that I never wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but it kind of found me again. And that was mostly to do with just, you know, as filmmakers most know, you're on the road, you're out and about, you know, sometimes there's days, weeks, months where you don't see your family. Especially in the older days, you didn't have FaceTime and stuff like that. So I never wanted to get into this industry. It seems very odd that I say that, but I love this industry too. So it's a love-hate relationship when I was growing up, but now I'm fascinated with it. And especially since I get to help in a capacity where I get to help independent filmmakers have their content be seen, be heard. So, you know, kind of backtrack a little bit back to where I was, you know, playing soccer, going to college. I was planning on being a professional collegiate athlete, had an injury, and it's shutting down my career. And I had to kind of pivot and figure out what I was going to do with my life. Ended up going into the corporate sales world for about 15 years. Loved every aspect of it, but it was definitely not part of my roadmap. My plan in life was always to help people, just whatever capacity it could be, like having a lasting impact on people's lives. And so when this opportunity came about to run Mometu and to help build it up from really the ground up, at first it was kind of like, I don't know if I want to be in this industry, right? It was something I didn't really want to be a part of. But when I really sat down with my wife, we talked about it. It was one of those opportunities I said, I can make a big impact on independent filmmakers' lives by having their films be seen in a way that's more unique than other platforms. And really excited to do what we're doing. Mometu's been out for about 1.5 years now. It's been growing steadily. And I think once people hear about it and they see it, they love what we're doing. And which is part of the reason why we're here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, very cool. Okay, you've teased what we're going to get into, which is exciting, very exciting. Hearing you growing up on a film set, that reminds me very much of. I could hear my son saying that right now, because it's the same thing. We have footage of him as a 10-year-old interviewing, like he's in the behind the scenes chair interviewing, saying that he is the president of the movie, and then there's scenes of him just playing with the cast and crew. It sounds like you did a lot more than that. Yours was legit working on a set, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my summer family trips was a month-long trip in Miami, which sounds great, but it was really because my dad was filming a movie.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher the name. It was like the Bikini Bed Race or something like that. I can't remember the name of the title, but it's a really, really funky movie back, you know, typical 90s movie, like early 90s, late 80s movie about
Yeah.
the bikini bed races that happen in Miami, where literally they have beds on wheels and 4 dudes push them like a bobsled with girls' bikinis in the beds. And so I think I was like 5 or 6 years old when that was being made. Quite a unique upbringing.
Like, what is this living? What is this job people are doing? That's that's awesome. Okay, so yeah, and it's there's always a little bit of heartbreak in me when I hear somebody that says they kind of fell into the movie industry or it was their last resort. Not a heartbreak, but just like desperation. Like, you what? Do you have any idea how hard it is to get into this thing? So what a blessing it is that that you have that experience and have been able to be in it. Okay, so you teased Mometu. Give give us a brief overview of what that is and your take on that.
Yeah, so Mometu and how we kinda came to that name is it's a very unique name, very hard to say. Some people say Mometu, Momitu, if you're Latin,
Mometu,
so,
yeah.
Mometu. So, a little flavor in there, and again, it's very difficult to say sometimes, but the reason we came up with that name is because it means more for me and you, and what it really is the more opportunities for filmmakers to have their content be seen, the me is actually us sitting on the couch with you, and I'll get back to that in a second, and the two is you in Latin, right? So just more of a universal you because we want people from all cultures and countries, really, because we have like, I mean, I don't even know exactly how many countries we have as far as representation on the app as well. But we have a mixture of, domestic independent films. We have a ton of international films. We have classics on Momi too. And getting back to the me is that is actually us hand curating all of our content. And so when you look at Momi 2 for both of you guys, your when you log into the app, it is the same look for both of you. The only difference is that you're like your favorites. So if you create a profile, there's a favorite section, right? You can save some stuff for later, but we do not build things off of algorithms. And then people are like, most people hear that they're like, "Wait, what?" Like everyone's using AI nowadays, right? We don't want to. We actually want people to discover content that they never knew they liked, never would have been presented. And hopefully they're down like, they get presented like a Korean drama and all of a sudden they're 10 Korean dramas deep because they just fell in love with that genre, right? That's our goal. And if you're a film, let's just say you're a lover of horror film or you're a lover of comedy, it's really simple just to go to the genre section, click comedy, click horror, and you're just immersed in just a world of horror comedy. But again, hand curated there as well. So you're getting exposed to like for instance, horror content. We have a great horror selection. So you're getting exposed to horror, maybe certain niches of horror that you're not typically going to click on and you get exposed to them and you get a chance to watch some stuff that is kind of a little more unique than what your algorithm typically would have presented.
So if I'm listening to this just as a listener, for an overview, I'm logging on to Momi2 the app,
Mhm.
and it's a place where I can watch hand curated independent films.
Yeah, that's the simple way to put it, right? But again, it's all hand curated by our team, so you get presented stuff that's unique. It's also a benefit to the filmmaker too, because filmmakers will have their metadata listed out in a way that they wanted it done. Well, that may not be favorable to a certain app's search engine and how their discoverability works. So I talk to independent filmmakers all the time, and they're like, "Hey, I've had my film on Tubi for 2 years, and I'm just making nothing." And it's just like, well, maybe you need to switch up your poster. Maybe you need to switch up your metadata. Maybe you need to switch up your synopsis or how your genres are listed.
Mhm.
Something like that to where it just triggers a new way that people are discovering your film.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm curious, Brian. I mean, you've been on film sets, and you kind of had through your dad and through probably your own experience have made movies. So like it's hard enough to make movies. And then it feels like maybe you went one step harder and said, we're going to create a new platform in the midst of, I mean, what do we have? 2,000 fast channels today and however many different streaming apps that are available. So can you give us some background as to why you chose that route as opposed to, I'm going to go make movies?
Well, I'm not a filmmaker, so that's
Okay.
first and foremost. But for myself, it was myself and obviously a group of people that came together and just said, "What's something that's not being done?" Right? Like there are these great streaming platforms that are out there, but again, your discoverability is based on how you use that app and the things that you like and dislike on, as you're watching things and your watch history. And most people are going to get to a point where they say there's nothing new on this app. I've seen everything. I mean,
Mm,
people say that about Netflix all the time,
yeah.
but it's not the case. You're presented maybe 5% of the content if you're lucky. And that's if you search a bunch through it, right? Most of the time, you're not seeing nearly upwards of 90% of the content at
Yeah.
all, like not even scrolling past it. So, how we get to do that is by doing that hand curation, it makes it unique because we do expose you to a lot more content than you ever thought you would.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and where are you finding that content? And I would shift into like, okay, how do I get my content there?
Yeah, so we work with right now, I think we're up to 24 now, maybe 25 different distribution outlets of content. So we work with distributors that carry independent content. I get the privilege of going to really cool events, like going to CES, going to NAB, AFM, and then my favorite, which is held in France, which is MIPCOM,
Uh-huh.
and that's in October. It's the largest content convention in the world. So I get to sit down with different distributors who, work with a lot of independent filmmakers, and we get to kind of go through their catalog and pick and choose what we'd like to have on the platform. And we typically look for a lot of underserved content. That's kind of our main focus. We don't want to, take the brightest and shiniest toy that they have. First and foremost, because they're going to ask a ton of money for it. But secondly, is just because that's not who we're catering to, right? Like we want the people that have, had their film up for a little bit, or maybe it's just a film that the budget was, a little lower, right? They struggle to make their film and we want to be there to help support it. So case in point, we worked with a company that's now called Insurgents, which was originally called V Channels,
Hmm.
and we brought on a film called Stupid Games. And Stupid Games was made for under $10,000. We actually did an exclusive premiere for it because we love the film so much. We just did like a 90-day release on it. And from there, that film made it onto Tubi, it made it onto the CW, made it onto other places as well. And then eventually, just a couple months ago, just won a gold at the Telly Awards.
Is that right?
And this is a film that was made for under 10 grand. But
Yeah.
we saw it as an opportunity and said, hey, we'd love to represent a film like that and help it get off the ground. So what we do, and obviously the film was successful on its own. It's not had nothing to do with, I'm not gonna say nothing to do with us, but just, it was gonna be successful no matter where it went. But what we were able to do is go in and say, hey, we're gonna partner with you to do, some press releases. We're gonna get you on some podcasts. We're gonna get some social media presence for your film, get some influencers to review your film on TikTok and on Instagram and create some buzz about your film to where we can drive some people to go watch it. And it did really well for it to the point where that then drew that film to then get to a little bit more success on other platforms too, right? So we are a newer platform. We're only a year and a half in, so we're not going to go to a filmmaker and say, "Hey, we're going to make you all of your money right now," or "Hey, we're going to give you all of the fame and success that you're looking for." We're going to get them jump started. We're going to get them off the ground, and we're going to help them have their film be seen, create a little SEO around it, create a little discoverability about it, and hopefully it's successful in our platform, but we want to see them be successful in other platforms as well. So when you talk about getting the film out to other people, we actually, when filmmakers reach out to us, we say, if this is something we want to release exclusively, we'll talk to them. What we really try to do is get them distribution because Mometu is not a distributor. So how can we better serve the independent filmmaker? Well, yeah, we'll put it on Mometu and get it on our platform and get it seen by our users. But what we really want to do is build up the opportunity that they can then get the proper licensing deal to then get seen on other platforms and not have a distributor take too much money out of their pocket at the same time. Because
Yep.
that's the hardest piece. For an independent filmmaker, it's not about getting onto a platform. It's about getting the right deal in place to where they're going to get paid and a distributor that's trustworthy. And we know the right ones that are to work with, and we know the ones that, we prefer not to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that situation with Stupid Games, that
Yeah.
movie, are you guys doing a licensing deal? Are you purchasing the movie? What's that relationship look like if you're then going and putting it on other platforms? In my mind, that seems counterintuitive because you'd want all the views on your platform.
Yeah, so we did a unique deal with them where it was just a 90-day exclusive. So
Okay.
it's not like we didn't go in there and say, "Hey, this is a Momiju original," right? Because it's not.
Yeah.
We'd love to get to doing originals eventually. We need a bigger fan base, we need a larger user base in order to do that because it's not fair to us. It's also not fair to the filmmaker, and we want more eyeballs on the film. And I think over time, that's going to build a reputation for Mometu being seen like, hey, these guys are out here to help the underserved filmmaker get seen. And then eventually it could end up on other platforms as well. We're okay with that because, again, discoverability on each platform is different, right? How people find movies on Mometu is different from how people find movies on Tubi, how they find movies on Plex, how they find movies on, name another platform, right? There's
Yeah.
there's a few. So we did a really unique deal with them because we didn't just help get the film on our platform. We also did a premiere in conjunction with V channels at the time, now Insurgents. And, we did a premiere movie night at Harmony Gold in Hollywood. We got them all over TikTok, getting different people to review their film. The likes of people that have 10, 20, 30, hundreds of thousands of followers, right? It's
Yeah.
all people that just want to hear about horror films. So like it worked really, really well for that film. Every film's going to be different though. It's not a cookie cutter, like copy and paste situation. Every film's different because every film has a different type of audience, right? I mean, there's a film that we worked with that was really more of a focus on Facebook because there were people groups that fell in love with the film. And it wouldn't have worked well on TikTok because the audience wasn't there.
Yeah.
So every film's different, every deal's different, and how we put it out there. But at the end of the day, it's all about building SEO for an independent filmmaker that they struggled just to get the funds to make the film. They don't have any money for marketing, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day, you need to get people to see your film. So
Yeah.
no matter how good or bad it is, you got to get it in front of people's eyeballs. And if you don't have a budget for that, then you got to get creative.
Nice. So shifting it to kind of the filmmaker side, from Mometu's perspective, like what are the qualities or the aspects of a film that make it not just like a good movie, but something that's actually valuable and marketable in like a niche place like a streaming platform or a fast channel or the kind of channel that you guys are?
Man, that is a loaded question. Well, just because I mean, it's going to depend on the film.
Yeah.
It's not a cookie cutter answer. And if you take like I said, like a horror film, like we had with Stupid Games, we have ways that we can get it to be seen. There's certain blogs and podcasts and creators that are focused around that type of film, right? Maybe even going to what's it called, like Midsummer, like the different cons, right? To Midsummer Scream and going to like maybe Comic-Con, right? Maybe that is a kind of the fit for that type of film, right? Depending on what the film is, right? So
Mm-hmm.
getting out there and getting creative in that aspect, like could be the way to go. And it's just going to depend on the film. So there's no single way to do it, but I will say that one of the things I've learned over the time is that filmmakers need to be thinking of how they're going to promote their films, especially if they don't have a budget for it,
Yeah.
before they start shooting it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I say that, it's like, hey, you got to think about, okay, when you're on set for however many days, 7 to 10 days, whatever, typical lower budget indie film kind of, but kind of a schedule is, right? Lower, less amount of days than a typical like larger film, right? So you have to get your actors on board to maybe do some like logs, like get in front of a little mini camera and say, hey, this is what we did on set today. This is my biggest challenge today. This is the most fun moment that I had today. Maybe get it kind of a little bit behind the scenes content that way. Getting some people to just run around with a camera while you're on set, like while maybe like a set is actually being built up and saying, hey, this is what we're doing today. This is the director's vision. This is the scene we're shooting, whatever it is, right? Getting some type of behind the scenes footage to where when you have the film ready, you already have, say, 60 to 90 days worth of content just for social media, up and ready. And maybe you're also releasing that as you're filming the film, like as you're actually getting the footage, maybe you're building up the audience and kind of teasing them a little bit, right? So there's a lot of different ways that filmmakers can get creative as far as building up that audience before their film gets out there. But again, if you don't have a budget for marketing, you have to do those things. If you're not doing them, then your film's not going to get seen. Or it's just you got to get lucky, right? You got to get the right person to see it and repost it and just hope and pray.
So maybe you've already mentioned this, but are there particulars that you are looking for when you're saying, hey, hand curating this thing, and you're sitting at MidCon going through a catalog with a distributor. What are you looking for? You go, okay, that's something that I know that I can get behind.
Again, not really a cookie cutter answer. It's just kind of,
Yeah,
it when you see it, right? Like a poster artwork is going to be huge. That's going to catch your eye. I mean, no matter what, it's very similar if you're looking through a catalog of content versus a typical person just on an app, right? What are you
yeah,
doing? You're scrolling through posters. You're scrolling through things that, like, what is catching your eye? And so
yeah,
if you don't have good artwork, don't complain that no one's clicking on your stuff, right? Because they don't know anything about your film except for the artwork or maybe the title at that point. So get that first and foremost, get that dialed in. And then from there, making sure that you have a good little blurb about what the film's about. You have to be short and concise with it. I mean, especially with Chat GPT and all the other AI services. I mean, if that's not your forte, shit, put your full synopsis in and say, hey, create me a single tagline for this. Like, create me a single, 2 to 3 sentences that really sum this up, that it's really eye catching, and then play around with it. I mean,
yeah,
utilize those types of services. Like, I'm not big on AI as far as like making films, but I mean, as far as writing and getting creative and having help with that stuff, I mean, use it to your
yeah,
full advantage. So
yeah,
that kind of stuff's huge. I mean, I don't necessarily look for specific names on, if I recognize a name, it's great. But I mean, as far as indie projects, a lot of the stuff we have is more like unknowns, right? I mean, you might get one person here and there that's kind of, like a D Wallace that jumps on a horror film, or we have a film with Helen Udy. And so it's like you get like little things like that, which are nice, but they're not typically major roles in the film. They're just kind of more of like just making sure their cast is a little brighter. Maybe their star meter on IMDb is a little higher because of it, kind of thing,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
I'm not necessarily looking for that. And then I'll also ask the distributors, it's like, hey, what's something that's worked well for you, and talk to them. So, getting to know your distributor as an independent filmmaker, talking to your salesperson, the people, that's really important because they're gonna pitch your film if they like you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, you mentioned then that there's a film festival associated with it, or you've started. Is that in relation to like, hey, we're now screening these movies, or is that something different?
No, you mean like the Mometu Festival?
Yeah,
Yeah, so the Mometu College Film Festival, no, that's not in conjunction. I mean, it is for independent filmmakers, but specifically for college students. And so this is something I saw as an opportunity for future filmmakers. My dad went to UCLA Film, so it's like, how can I support filmmakers that were like him when he was in college? They used to have to sell out a theater, right? Get a
yeah,
theater to take their film, and then go on the streets and sell, 300-400 tickets at a time to get people to come watch their film. We can actually get, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people to come watch these student short films on our platform. So this last year was our third season, or we're kind of technically right in the midst of it. So we had 83 films from 38 different colleges and universities,
wow,
um, that were on our platform for an entire month. They're still up there right now, actually. You can still find them on our homepage. But these films were up from June 1st to June 30th. And the student filmmakers were actively promoting their films, saying, hey, my film's on a streaming service. And there was a little bit of a component built into that for the festival as well.
sure,
But we had 7 categories, and those 7 category winners, based on we had 22 judges that were judging the films on the back end. The 7 category winners were invited to Hollywood, and that actually takes place this July 26th, in Hollywood. So if you're listening to this and it's before July 26th,
yeah,
go ahead and yeah, you can go to our Instagram page, which is at Momi2 College Film Fest, or you can just go to momi2.com and inquire about the film festival. But if you're in LA and you want to come watch some cool shorts on the 26th, let us know. We'll get you some tickets. It's a free event, and we're going to be screening the 7 category winners. Those filmmakers come and walk the red carpet. They get interviewed on the red carpet. We have Miss World America, Athena Crosby. She also does interviews at Cinequest. She's going to be on the red carpet doing our interviews with the filmmakers and with other people coming by.
yeah,
We're going to have them, after their screenings are done, them on stage doing a Q&A, and then some additional awards. So really cool opportunity. We got some great partners. TCL is our best picture sponsor.
Hmm.
So they're going to be on stage presenting a brand new television to the winner. We got some other cool prizes like Film U Stage, which is AI software. We got
yeah,
all 7 category winners are going to take home a package from them. New Filmmakers of Los Angeles has dumped in a few Rising Creator Awards. So that's like a year-long sponsorship for 4 of the winning films. So really excited to give those away. All the 7 category winners take home $500 cash. We have 7 different category sponsors that are, overseeing those as well. So really cool festival, and everything we're doing, like literally every dollar we bring in goes right back into the festival. No one on our team takes a cut from it. So
Yeah.
Wow.
it's a lot of fun. And again, if you guys want to cruise down from where you guys are, it's a hop,
Yeah.
skip, and a jump away. But July 26th, come and check out some short films and have some fun.
That's
Ah,
awesome.
very cool.
Yeah.
I like the structure of that a lot. That's super cool. Use the web to cast a big net and get lots of views and awareness for it, and then still have an in-person element. You're probably inviting other platforms and other
Mhm.
producers and other industry people to it to say, hey, look, here's some rising talent. Like, I just love everything about it. That's super
Yeah, I
cool.
mean, one of the coolest things that we've partnered with Insurgents, again, formerly V Channels, but they are actually going to be helping develop one of the short films into a feature film.
Wow.
And it'll be a lower budget, but either way, we're going to help them, put it together. We'll help promote it, and we're going to more than likely have it on Mometu as either an exclusive or as an original. And that student director gets to direct that feature film too. So they get to make their first feature. Literally, most of them are just right out of college. Like they just had these are their senior thesis films, right? So they either
Mhm.
graduated just this past May or June or the previous May or June, because we allow films to be submitted up to 2 years post grad, just in case they're still working on post production, or maybe they
Mhm.
had a festival run that needed to have a premiere status, right, for like Austin Film Festival or South by Southwest or Dances with Films, whatever it may be. So we give them that opportunity to have a full year in their festival run and then come to us, and hopefully we're their kind of their maybe one of their last ones, but we're more than likely going to be the one that gets the most eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What is it? I mean, in the 30 minutes that we've spoken so far, I just hear thing after thing that you are doing to help independent filmmakers. And what is it, man? What drives you to do that? Because that's awesome. As an independent filmmaker, I think we need more people like you creating these opportunities.
Yeah, no, I love, again, it goes back to what I mentioned before, is like whatever I did in life had to be about people. It had to be about
Yeah.
helping others, and it didn't matter what industry it was. It just happened that the film industry was, kind of ties back to my childhood, and a little bit of that drive comes from, my father being that independent filmmaker type, the one that was struggling to get people to watch their films. And so I know that struggle. Like I lived it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watched my dad try to, do creative things to get people to watch his films. Nowadays it's a little different because we have the access with streaming. We can do that a little differently. And I can take a film that's, again, made for under 10 grand and put it front and center on my app, versus maybe another platform won't do that, right? They're going to take the films that they invested more money into and put those front and center, right?
Yeah.
So you look at I mentioned Tubi a little bit just because we're in their space, but I love Tubi, but they are going to promote a lot of the films that they either made themselves, right? Like originals,
Yeah.
or maybe things that were made by Fox because they're owned by Fox, or they're going to
Hmm.
put some tentpole titles of stuff like maybe some nostalgic stuff that they paid a good amount of money for to get on their platform. They need to make sure they get back, the return on their investment. Totally valid.
Yeah.
But that means that the independent filmmaker who struggled to get their film made and struggled to find the right distributor to get it onto that platform may or may not get seen.
Are there specific trends that you're seeing in the, say you take the short films made for 10 grand? What are you seeing that you go, okay, that's a trend, or that's what people are doing now to improve their craft or to really find an audience?
I mean, I don't think that's anything that's been broken, for it's kind of a tale as old time. Any short film or proof of concept is going to be kind of a showcase of what you can do, and how you can be better as a filmmaker. As far as what we bring onto the platform, we don't typically bring on shorts. We have the film festival for college shorts, but shorts don't monetize very well on ad-based platforms. No matter if
Oh,
it's YouTube or not, like it doesn't matter. It's all
yeah,
based
yeah,
on time watched, right? So you're going to get a number of ads that play is going to be based on every roughly 7 to 10 minutes. You're going to get an ad pod, and that's how you monetize.
Hmm.
So with a 10-minute short or a 15-minute short or even a 25-minute short, it's still not quite as much time as to say a 90-minute film, right? Short films get 2 to 3 ad pods, where a 90-minute film will get anywhere between 9 and 10. And so
Yeah.
that's just purely in volume. So when getting onto an ad-based platform, features are definitely going to do better. But as far as short films, that's just kind of what filmmakers need to do to kind of hone in their craft
Gotcha.
and be
Gotcha.
ready for that opportunity that comes.
Yeah. I'm curious if there's anything you can share, because I do think there's an overlap with like the idea that filmmakers need to connect with an audience. And you mentioned the importance of that, starting from, we have an idea for a movie. Okay, well, who's the audience for this? That needs to be like moment one. But what are some of the things that you and your company are doing to reach an audience? Because it's one thing to have 10,000 titles that you've hand curated, but it's like that if you build it, they will come fallacy of, you might have 10,000 movies, but if no one knows they exist, then you have no
Correct.
traffic, you have no ad revenue, anything, right? So what are
Yeah.
some of the things that you guys have found to be successful to find that audience for the platform? Because I think that's probably some overlap for the filmmakers who are going, oh, I could maybe implement that as I'm trying to connect with an audience for my movie.
Yeah, I mean, it is, again, it comes down to creativity. So there, and I'll give one example from a filmmaker standpoint, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Yeah.
So from a filmmaker standpoint, there is forgive me because I don't remember his name, but there is a filmmaker that is out there that has built up a community under like a Patreon account that he reaches out to his audience. He's built an audience of like 2 to 300,000 people now that just love his work. And this has taken time to build up. It doesn't happen overnight, but he's done this to where he goes and say, hey, if you donate, $5, $10, $20, whatever, let's build a budget around this idea. And they'll go and they'll say, here's my story. Here's, kind of an idea of like some script ideas, whatever. This is kind of the direction I want to go in. And he'll even take ideas from his community and say, like, what do you guys want to see? What ideas do you want to see made? And I'll write it. And so he's come in and say, okay, this is the film, back a budget on it. And he'll get a budget from his community. Because what, you paid $20 to go watch a movie in the theater
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
didn't have any hands in making, right? But would you rather pay $10 and get to watch a film that you love the creative style of that filmmaker and you love the idea of being part of the process and getting to kind of see the behind the scenes stuff through that, see the making of the film, and then you actually get to see the finished product? And they do movie premieres, like virtual ones, they do some in-person ones. So really cool way to captivate an audience. I think that was probably one of the most unique ways I've seen a filmmaker get involved with their community to help make films and have the kind of full circle moment come with his community. So doing things like that, that's thinking outside the box. As far as what we do at Mometu, we focus heavily on social media. So we want to build up communities that like what we're doing, right? But we do it on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit now. Like someone actually started a Reddit account for us. So that's really cool. So we've been trying to push into that. That just started like, I don't know, what, 3 weeks ago. So,
Oh, nice.
but just someone just really loved what we're doing and just like, hey, let's start an account for them. So I think that was really cool. So we're just trying to drive people to that. But yeah, getting really, really smart with social media. Cause again, we don't have what I call Ryan Reynolds money to start marketing and trying to go against the giant platforms that have been doing this for 10 to 15 years. It's not realistic. We
Yeah.
could get a bunch of backing and go through a bunch of rounds of raising money, but at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily make sense against some large corporations that have millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So we get creative in that aspect. Again, using each individual film that we have as an opportunity to help grow the platform. But we don't do it in the like thinking about us. We do it in regards of thinking about the filmmaker first. And so helping them get their films be seen ultimately helps us grow our platform. So our main focus is the filmmaker, because without the filmmaker, Mometu won't exist. But then as far as side things that we're doing, the film festival is one of them. Helping
Yeah.
out the young up and coming talents get seen and having them help spread the word about our platform has been a great success for us. And it's only in its third season. So really looking forward to see how that develops over time. And then most recently, about I think we just dropped episode 20, episode coming out this week. I started a podcast. Who doesn't have a podcast nowadays, guys? You know, speaking from experience right here. I'm on yours.
Yeah. Yeah. We're guilty.
So
We're
everyone's
guilty.
got one, right? So we started a podcast called the More for Me and You podcast, and I bring on different entertainment folks from actors, directors, executives. We've had some comedians on, we've had a musician on, and we bring people and get to know their journey,
Yeah.
and we focus on what their kind of story has been, how they, where they came from, how they got into this industry, what they're doing next, and even ways to find them. We play some fun little games in between, and then we do a quick little movie review on a movie that can be found on Mometu that our guest picks, and then we do a little spoiler-free review on it. So it's a fun little way to kind of tie in their journey, but also tie in films that can be found on Mometu as well.
Oh, very cool.
It's awesome.
Well, it sounds like we need to make an appointment to listen to the podcast, and then Darren's great at games, so
Yeah, if you guys are in LA, I'd love to have you on. It's a cool little time. We're
that's awesome.
releasing one episode a week, and you can find the video version on YouTube. So you can either type in Mometu podcast or the More for Me and You podcast. Either way, you'll find it. Got that little yellow star with the microphone in there. And you can also find it on the typical, if you're a purist and you just want to listen to the audio, then you can go on to like Apple or Spotify or the typical suspects. I'm sure everywhere you guys are.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we'll put that on our show notes as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Very cool. I love what you're doing, Brian, and I want to go certainly look at the app and the channel and check out some of the films.
Yeah, you can
Am I gonna
download.
find the Miami movie on that?
Which one? The
Your dad
Miami
did
one?
the
No,
Miami movie?
I don't know if we have that film on there. I don't believe so. I'd have to search it up. But if we do, I'll let you know so you can take a look. Maybe I'll make a cameo here and there. Uh, I was on another film that he made. I know that we do have. It was originally called Lucas's Child, but now it's called, oh gosh, Night of the Beast.
Okay.
Night of the Beast. If you want to see like 5-year-old Bryan with a super toe head and some fake sheriff gear.
Yeah.
I do a couple scenes with my brother. We got some toy guns and everything. It's really funny, but it's a fun little indie film that my dad did when we were younger. So he used, again, some free talent there, right? Some free
You use
actors.
what you have. Yeah, we've preached that before. Use what resources you have.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, no, we've got a few of his films on there. I think Dilemma is another one that was on there that he's starting Danny Trejo and C. Thomas Howell. Yeah, one of the
Okay.
outsiders. He was in
Well,
that as
yeah,
well.
there's some
Although he
talent.
used that, my dad had to use a pseudonym for that one. I think his name was Eric Larson for that film. I don't know why. There's some kind of contractual issue. So
Sure.
yeah, but you again, just over 10,000 films on Momi, bunch of different unique independent films. We got some international, just really gems, I would say, that you really typically can't find on other platforms. And even if you do, it's just really difficult to come across them.
Yeah.
And our international slate has just been growing. I mean, our Korean films are taking off. We got a really great selection of that. The films we're getting from the UK and from Australia have been top notch. So yeah, a lot of different stuff on the app, and you can find it on any device. So you got your smart TV, you got your Vizio, Samsung, you can find it there. If you're using a Roku or a Fire TV, you can find it there as well, Apple TV. And if you just want to take us on the go, you can find us on your phone as well.
Amazing.
That's super cool, man.
Sounds like you guys
Well,
have been busy the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, super busy all the time, and on top of raising a 3-year-old too. So life is crazy every day for us.
There you go. You're a future AD. In
Exactly right.
couple years, he'll be ADing
I don't know. I
something.
mean, in a sense of me running Momi maybe he'll be a future intern or something, a marketing intern.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Put
That's
him
right.
on a
Give me
commercial
a
or
TikTok
something.
account, and then you never know what'll happen.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Okay, man,
Thank you
this
so
has
much.
been fantastic. It's so cool to see other supporters of independent film and independent filmmakers. And thank you for all you're doing.
I
And
appreciate
yeah,
it.
our listeners, check out Momito for sure.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having me on, guys, and thanks for making it such a quick turnaround as well. I mean, we literally just talked last week, so really appreciate you having me on. And again, I'm more than willing to come back and talk some more shop down the road, maybe after our festival, or maybe when we have another exclusive premiere come out.
Awesome. Thanks, man. That was nice.
Tons of information there, right?
Well, it's just like, we always talk with our guests in between recording this end thing. We don't just kick them off and then keep talking. I told Brian, it was really nice that this wasn't just a sales pitch for Mometu. He's genuinely interested in providing information, helping people navigate this crazy, complex industry that we're in and make sense of it all. I just really appreciated that about the conversation today.
I'll tell you what, though, it sure works as a sales pitch for Mometu. I agree with you. He was not salesy at all. But as we were talking, I'm logging on to Mometu and finding out more about it. And it seems like a neat opportunity for independent filmmakers to get their.
They figured out how to benefit both sides, right? He's not paying upfront licensing fees to get movies on Mometu, but they're investing time and dollars and relationships into getting more awareness for each movie that comes on their platform, which benefits both sides. They need the ad revenue coming in, and that gets boosted when you have more views and more people watching and more minutes watched. So what they're doing for themselves to benefit themselves is all benefiting the filmmakers. Here's me doing the sales pitch for Mometu now. I like the model. I think it's pretty clean. Here's something I'd push to you to get your thoughts on about this whole streaming world. There's like over 2,000 fast channels already with tens of thousands of movies or hundreds of movies per platform. As a filmmaker, does it make more sense to get on as many platforms as possible? Or does it make more sense to just get on one or two and have like, you got it on Angel, you've got it on Amazon, Apple TV, and YouTube for purchase. And besides that, stream it on Angel. Where do you think fall on that spectrum of let's get it in as many places as possible versus as few so that we can focus our marketing efforts?
I think it's a little bit of a heavier question because it depends on the lifetime of the film on where you are on that. Right? This is our premiere exclusive. We're launching it this year. And I think you do want to be on one of those premium name brand channels that draws attention. It's an easy answer to the question that you always get. Where can I see your movie?
Yeah.
See, it's hard to say, oh, you can see here and here and here. Or if you're a subscriber here, say, oh, it's on Amazon. Oh, great. I was telling Bryan in the post recorded interview, I've got a fast channel that just picked up my first film from 2009. And they're doing a premiere release in August.
Wow.
For this very fun family comedy. After about 3 or 4 years of your movie being out there available on one of those premiere channels, you go to every single streamer and platform that you can. It's about these, little residual amounts that come in that you can then shift to your investors to continue to recoup the movie.
Yeah. Well, that's where having a really good distribution partner or sales agent comes into play, because then you're not thinking about when's the exclusive window up on this channel and when's the licensing deal on this channel end. They're going to be constantly putting it in front of other vendors and other partners that could stream your movie or sell your movie or distribute your movie. And they handle that for you. One of my questions to him was, are filmmakers coming to you direct? He's like, yes, but I'm always putting them in contact with distributors that we like because we're one channel. We want them to be on tens of channels. They'll connect them with a filmmaker or with a distributor or with a sales agent to be able to say, yeah, let's get you in as many places as possible. It's a cool model. I'm excited to see how they grow, especially their festival. It sounds like they put a lot of thought into that to provide opportunities for filmmakers to get exposure, awareness, and awards. It's very cool.
Yeah, I love it. Well, good. Darren, anything else that you're working on? Do we need to shift gears and talk about the fund, or how are you doing with that?
The fund is charging ahead. I am hosting a 3-day producers retreat here in Utah in September. As the audience has grown, there's been some questions about like, hey, are you ever going to do an in-person event? And so this is that. Find me online and message me if you're interested. If you're a producer and you'd like to come hang out for 3 days at Sundance in September, we could do that and it'd be fun.
Sounds like we could find out lots of information on that on your LinkedIn.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
been fun putting that together because it's an interesting way to think about releasing something. It started with who's interested in something like this. And I just put a link in my email list in a newsletter and said, who's interested in this? Like 40 people clicked on the link and got tagged that way. I was like, oh, okay, there's some interest. Then I went the next step and just to those 40 people sent them a link and said, if you're interested, here's a quick scorecard. Tell me what would make this worthwhile and put down a $100 deposit. And then 7 out of those 40 people put a deposit down. I started with those 7 people and said, hey, there's enough interest for me to move forward with this. If you want to get your ticket, you're first in line because you put a deposit down. I had 4 people buy a ticket. So I was like, okay, that's pretty good numbers and a pretty good process for like, you want to gauge that there's enough interest before you invest time and effort into doing that. I didn't put together an itinerary or timeline or schedule or location when I sent out the initial links and the deposit link. So it's a cool way to test the idea. Start with your log line and go out to the industry and your friends and family and be like, here's a movie I'm thinking about, and gauge their response. And if everyone's like, oh, cool, and that's it, then maybe that's not the idea. But if you're just like, oh my gosh, I've never heard anything like that. That sounds amazing. You might be onto something. Then go to the synopsis, then go to an outline, then write the script once people have given you money for it. Hope that's helpful.
I love it. Sounds like another episode idea.
Happy to talk about in-person events, which I think we've done a little bit of, but it's a different kind of bigger event, more involved, more immersive. And so it's going to be fun to put together.
It's the opposite of if you build it, they will come. You found them, and now you got to build it.
There you go.
Which is great.
We need to do a screening of Faith of Angels one night at the event. We need to make that happen.
Oh, well, I've had lots of people reach out for screening. Let's do it.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Well, there we go. There's an update.
Good update. Thanks. I'm glad you're doing well, and I look forward to chatting with you next week.
Thanks, man. Talk soon. Thank you for listening to this episode of Truly Independent. To join us on the journey, be notified, and ask us questions about today's episode, head over to 3coinpro.com/podcast and put in your name and an email address. If you're a fan of the show, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app and be sure to share this. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Our intro and outro music is Election Time by Kjartan Abel.